Hello and welcome back to the tutorial. We're on to trees in this episode. We just did foliage. I have not actually gone through and put foliage into the map right now. I just wanted to jump right into using the tree creator script. Let me get the mic adjusted here. Perfect. So I wanted to get I wanted to jump straight into doing, after getting a cup of coffee in me, getting trees into the map, so you can kind of do the foliage and the trees together if you really wanted to, or you can do them separately, but I will I'll run the foliage script later and everything, personally, so I can just show you what the map looks like when it's actually, decently put together. But for now, we're going to run the tree creator script, and it's super simple. Now that we've done the fruit density script, things are just going to be really straightforward. So I'm going to close out of that. I'm going to go into the tree creator folder. I should have this uploaded for you guys along with this video. This is another script from LS Mod Company. I believe it's from the same person. I'll need to look when we get in there, by the same person. So this folder is going to include a tree template. This is going to have a whole bunch of trees in it for you to use. You can add trees to that if you want. I included the textures of the trees in here. And the script. So again, in order to get the script into Giants Editor, into the scripts folder of Giants Editor, you will need to do percent app data. That's the caps. App data percent. Then I always click on this users Oberon app data. That's where my Giants Editor is located. Then go into the scripts folder, drag and drop the tree generator. Super simple. We've already done that twice now. Or have we done that twice now? It might be the first time we've added a script. I'm not sure. So yeah, we'll go ahead and add that into your scripts folder. And so I have let's see here. Tree density. That's a GRLE file, just like our fruit density that we just did. We're gonna go into the maps, map de. Okay, now the same process as adding getting the map prepared for that foliage script. We need to add a GRLE image in here, and so I got one right here, handy dandy. You should have one with you. Gonna bring that, copy paste that in here. Perfect. See, where did that end up? Right here. Okay, now I'm gonna go to the maps file. I'm gonna go to the map, open it in Notepad++. I should close out of this, by the way. Always close out of Giants Editor. Make sure you save and close out of Giants Editor so that you can, so that the updates that you do in Notepad++ will show up in Giants Editor next time you open the map. Okay, so I'm gonna do that whole farmland thing over again. I'm gonna do, 1, 2, 3, 4. That's fine. I'm gonna rename this to, so it's in map de. Go to the map de folder, tree density. So tree and then density. Cool. That's going to be, let's see, and that is a GRLE. It's not a PNG. But I'm going to show you a different method to do it through PNG, through GIMP. If you're doing like extra large maps, I did it for my 16x. So this is a lot faster method there. I'm going to save that. Let's see, that's 4 zeros. Cool. Let's go down to info layers. There we go. Let's do the same thing that we did for, let's just take farmland here. Again, doesn't matter. Field dimensions are the only one where we want the number of channels to be more than, or to be as much as farmlands. Okay, so we did 204, 1, 2, 3, 4. Notice how our, the info layers that we added before have changed numbers. Remember we did 204 with 4 zeros afterwards? Now it's 207 for fruit density. The same with field dimensions. Okay, so they changed numbers. Now it's going in order and everything. So the game automatically, Giants Editor, when you save it, automatically does that for you. Okay, so this number doesn't really have any meaning other than referencing initially the actual GRLE file. File ID that we have listed above. Okay, so you can name these info layers anything you want, but of course we want to maintain consistency across the board. Tree density, I'm going to name it that. All right, file save. Okay, see how this is just super easy now that you've learned how to do it initially. Okay, now we're going to open double click that. Double click that. I'm going to open it in 8.2.2 because that's where my scripts are located. And it's better. Perfect. Okay. So let's oh shoot, I need to well, let's check to make sure that the info layer is in here. Okay, tree density, perfect. Let's open that up. Paint that down. Perfect. Okay, so to remember, so we're going to save it really quick here. And then I'm going to export the trees here. I'm going to minimize that. I'm going to go back to that tree creator folder that I will have uploaded for you guys. I'm going to open tree template 8.2.2. And okay, opened up. So I have a whole bunch of different trees in here for you. You can add trees to the, if you want, but this will probably be the first thing that I think it's the first time we'll be exporting something to the new map and then importing. So I'm going to click this parent group templates. That's going to highlight everything. I'm going to click file, export selection with files. I'm going to go to our actual textures folder here. Tutorial map should be down here. There we go. Then I'm going to go to the textures folder. And I already have trees in here. I mean, like, I think I probably will have accidentally included that in the file that you guys are getting. We're just going to ignore that. We'll probably go through and delete that, actually. I'm going to call these trees, save. Oh, wait, I can't call them trees. Let's call it tree template. If I call it trees, then it's going to just open up that folder. Do you want to get parent directory structure? No. Game relative paths? Yes. Okay, now I'm actually going to go in and I'm going to go into the map file, go back to that textures folder. I'm going to go ahead and delete this tree file here. I do not need that. All right, so our textures came over. That's cool. One thing, this is a general principle. This is housekeeping, okay, for importing and exporting objects. You always want to do this if you want a clean texture folder. These file paths up here for textures can go on for a mile. Especially if you're using objects from like FS13, like when people weren't paying attention to file paths and like cleaning up their file, their texture folder and everything, like, dear God, it's ugly. Okay, so I'm going to paste that here. Okay, all those textures. And then I am going to go into tree template. I'm going to go right here. You should do this for every single object that you intend to import into the map, by the way. Do this for every object. Okay, I'm going to go in here, and a lot of these are referencing the base game, so that's fine. Some of these trees are just drawing textures from the base game. We don't have to touch those. They're always going to draw from the base game no matter what, because it's got this $ data at the beginning. Okay, what I'm concerned about are these. Okay, these are no longer in that texture file. Remember, I brought them to the front of, see, this is the file that the Notepad++ is saying that they're in, but we want them all at the front. Okay, we want them all at the front like this. All of our textures from now on are going to be at the front like this. It's going to look nice and pretty. Okay, and then we won't have to deal with these extra folders. Okay, but for now, it's pointing to that. So what I'm going to do, so I'm going to go Control F, replace. Then I'm going to, highlight that actually. Textures slash. Okay, so this is, I'm going to find all of the lines that say texture slash. Okay, because it's going texture slash 11.dds. This is the actual image we want, okay, to be at the front. So I'm not going to replace it with anything. Find next, backward direction. You want to go in the forward direction. Okay, so find next. I'm going to replace that. See how now it's just 11.dds? Now it's just referencing now it's actually referencing the things that we copy and pasted to the front. Okay, I know this was probably super straightforward and probably maybe I don't need to explain it, but it's so important for maintaining file size, for maintaining optimization in your map. Your map's going to perform better, it's going to load better if you just do it this way instead of having like dozens of texture files that it's going through, and like all those different file paths probably have duplicate textures. Like, let's say you have a steel texture, steel siding texture, and it's just like the same texture, but it's like in a number of different branching files. Why are you like adding that extra space to your texture file? Why are you adding that extra space to your map and just making it bigger and bigger? Okay, so Let's do a replace all now. Instead of just doing find next, replace, let's do replace all. 22 occurrences, that sounds about right. It should be about 22 in here. That's good. They all changed. See how they all changed? Now, there is a method for like exporting and importing where I don't have to go through every single object in that map file to change that texture file path. There's a code, a line that you can type in and it'll change it all for you immediately. But when you do that, you're at risk of having textures that are named the same but are different textures. You'll have like a steel texture that's like two different ones. They're different and like completely different. And like when you bring those all to the front of the folder, the Windows is going to say, hey, these two are named the same. You can only keep one of them the same. Okay. And then the other one's going to have to be named something different. And when you name that thing different, like the object that you have in your map, it's not going to be able to find the texture because the name of the texture has changed, and it's going to just reference the one with the whatever has the correct name, and that's going to be the wrong texture. If that makes any sense. So we want to do it this way, just for housekeeping purposes. And I know it's annoying, but you guys are going to be you'll thank me later. Okay. So we have. Let's import. We exported to that map file. Actually, I want to go through now that I've changed those texture paths and saved it. I'm going to go back to that map folder here. I'm going to go into textures and I'm going to go here and I'm going to delete that. So when we import those trees, they should not appear white. If they are appearing white, you're missing textures. Okay. And image plane, I actually don't even need image plane in here. I can delete that really quick. Get that out of here. Okay. So after you're done importing, you can just come back here and delete this. Okay, so that it's not clogging up your map file because it's going to be baked into the map as a shape. Okay, so file, import, tree template. Swear to God, if these are white textures. Okay, there we go. I'm going to bring those to up here really quick just to check on them. That's fine. They look great. Fantastic. I can go back to the file now that I've imported these and I can go delete that and look, only textures in here. Beautiful. There might be some XML and shaders in here as well, but generally i3D and i3D shapes files, the ones that I just deleted, you do not need those in the textures file if you have them baked into this map. Okay. I'm going to set all these trees to 0, 0, 0. When I run the script, I want them intersecting and stuff like that. So I'm going to put them all at 0, 0, 0. Make life a lot easier for me. And you can put, if you want certain trees appearing more, you're just gonna duplicate. Like let's say, are these all at 0 rotation as well? Okay. And you know, if you want more of a certain tree, let's say I don't want that one. That's gross. It's a dead tree. Okay. So an oak tree, and you want more oak trees, just click Control D and duplicate. Okay, so now look how we have another one down here in the list. That's going to increase the chances, not the chances, that's going to increase the number of times that that tree will appear when you run the script, because it's going to run the script and it's going to add this in and it's going to add this in. Okay, so that's basically how you do it. Okay. So if you want things to appear more, if you just want one tree appearing over and over again, you just have one tree in this template. Okay, let's get these out of here. I don't even know like what types of trees they have in Utah, so this is going to be interesting. Okay, templates. I'm going to create a transform group. I'm going to name this trees. Cool. I'm going to do Control X and Control V. Okay. To copy and paste it into this new group, or cut and paste into this new group. Okay, it has to be structured like this. The script will not work properly if you don't have it structured like this. Structure it like this. I don't think the names matter for the transform groups, but definitely have it like this. Now, one thing to keep in mind is our clip distances. I have these all set to 1,000. Over here is the clip distance. So at 1,000, over 1,000 distance, I don't know what that is. Is it in feet or I don't even know, meters? Yeah, maybe it's 1,000 meters. I will not be able to see this these trees. So let me back up until they disappear. Should be pretty close to the edge of the map, yeah, since it's 1x. See how they disappear? that's clip distance. Okay, so they're all set to 1,000 clip distance. That's generally what I use. You can increase and decrease that for performance issues. If you have a lot of trees in a map, you probably want to decrease that clip distance for each tree. And then templates, I'm gonna have that set to 1,000, trees set to 1,000, just consistency across the board so we don't run into any issues. Clip distances set to 1,000. That's great. So now, think about this. If you're loading up a map with a lot of trees and you have a high clip distance on all of them, as you get closer to bigger forests, all those trees are gonna bam load in at once. And think of your game's performance. It's just gonna tank immediately when you're loading in a ton of trees at once. Okay, so really think about this first. You can make multiple groups, by the way. You can make multiple tree groups just like this. And let's say you want to phase in the trees. Okay, so when you paint down your info layer, you're going to paint down an info layer, run the tree script, and then erase that info layer. Okay, and paint. Let's paint up here. Paint in this area. Okay, and then run the script again. And phase in, have them at different clip distances and stuff like that to phase in the trees. That's a method that you can do for optimizing your map. Okay, that's just theory though. Let's put all this into practice. Okay, so let's go to Window, Script Editor. Cool. Tree Creator. Perfect. Okay, we remember those. Let's maximize this. Remember those file paths that we adjusted under the foliage creator script? Let's go over there really quick. Let's copy and paste this line from the quotation marks onward. Cool beans. Let's do that. And now, instead of this, we want tree density. Has to be the name of this GRLE. If it's not the name of that, you're doing it wrong. Okay. Now let's, I'm going to copy and paste that as well. Copy and paste this, make sure that colon is there, or semicolon or colon, I don't remember which. I was an English major, I should know this. Okay, so this is going to be, again, this is path for the field dimensions. These aren't our official field dimensions, these are I would call these the script field dimensions. These are the field dimensions that are going to work with the script. We'll do official field dimensions where it's like, this is field 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. We'll do that later. Right now, these are all just field 1. Okay, so got our file paths correct here, just like that previous script. We want bits, fruit density, GRLE 8 should be 8 for both of these, unless you've done something significantly wrong. Local factor, this is going to determine the density of the forest. Okay, so I'm going to bring this down to I don't know, 400,000. Okay, and local radius, tree radius, we want that, you can do it one, that's 1 tree radius worth of distance. Okay, so maybe you want them at 5. Okay, that's fine. I'm gonna save this really quick. Okay, save the script, click back on Giants Editor. Actually, can I just minimize this? Get out of my way. Okay, I'm gonna save that really quick. I am going to make sure that this template is at 0, 0, 0, so that nothing is floating when we run the script. Everything's at zeroed out. Everything's zeroed out. Okay, perfect. You want that this doesn't have rotation. Okay. Okay. Make sure that's zeroed out. Tree density. Again, blue pencil. Well, let's say we want to paint over this fruit density. And by the way, the script that we were editing, if you want to paint over where you painted your fruit density, just don't use the tree density GRLE that we just added. Do fruit density. You know what I mean? You just have the same file paths as the fruit density script. Okay, if you just want to paint over that same area, but I don't like that. I hate that. Okay, and we can get a little sloppy with the field. Again, we have the field dimensions in there. Now, the thing with the script is that the trees will kind of overlap with the field. Just in certain spots, I found that it will do that, so you may need to run along the field edges just to check and move some trees. It's not all, it's some. Okay, so I'm gonna go ahead and paint that. Say I want trees all along there, okay? Remember, always save when you have painted down on an info layer. Save. Exporting, cool. We're ready to go. We're running, and now I'm going to click on the tree transform group. I'm going to bring that script back up. Sure, we're under tree creator. I'm going to click execute. Look at that. Let's minimize this. Oh, look at that. Beautiful. Absolutely beautiful. So you can see like the distance between these trees, maybe not what you want. You would just go back to the script and adjust the radius. Okay, see how this is like super, this is perfect. This is so dense. I mean, this map is not going to call for that. I'll show you. I mean, this is the trees that we're working with on this map. All right, so it's not even nearly that much. Okay, and most of the trees you probably don't want to run, you know, like these trees on this farm. I'm not going to run the script on that. I'm going to place these trees individually because these are more like farm, like the farm trees, you know. So I'll create a separate tree group for that farm, or no, I won't. I'll just copy paste from this master group of trees. But you see how, and you know, do the farms individually to conclude that point. Okay, so you see how our template is still, you know, still in here. Okay, you know, it's kind of just taking up space in the middle of the map. When we don't need the template anymore, we can just delete that, but we need it for the script purposes. But you can see all these trees were created. How many trees? Window, let's go to window, console, scroll all the way down here. 363 trees. Okay, I have created 60,000 trees on Elkator 16x just by running the script once. Okay, and it does take a little bit to run for it to generate 60,000 random rotations, random placements of trees. Okay, so be a little understanding. But since I've optimized those trees and the clip distances and everything, I can have 60,000 trees in my map and not run into performance issues. Okay, and you know, my radius is set a little higher. So maybe you want more trees, but you know, maybe keep the density of this forest a little bit lower. By increasing the radius, fewer trees. See, even this is like too close. See how it kind of, it gets into the field just a little smidgen too much, you know. In real life you would cut that back, you know, like, so you just do Control B on all of these and just drag in with the left click and drag them back just a hair. Totally fine. You know, you may have to clean that up a little bit, but hey, you're not having to you know, put in an entire forest. Now, let's say you want to like spot place trees. Okay, spot placing trees for your farm. So you would just do, I would click on, let's say I want oak trees and I want to put them on this farm right here. Okay, I don't know where that's located, but now I would just click on this tree. I'd click Control D for duplicate. It'll go to the bottom of the list. Okay, duplicates always go to the bottom. Don't click on anything. Okay, you don't want to lose that duplicate. Okay, you're gonna Control B and you can drag it. Okay, just like we learned in, I think, probably like lesson 2. Okay, so I can go across the map wherever that farm's located. I have no idea. Probably right here. And I can Control B, bring it over here, and I can just click Control. Actually, I can click Shift if I want to just, and holding left click here. So I'm clicking Shift and holding left click after I've controlled B. And just placing these trees, and they all have the same rotation. Okay, if you want different rotations, okay, now I need to do Control B so I can drag this again. Okay, if you want different rotations, instead of Shift, you'd hit Control. So Control, 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 Control. Now these should all have different rotations. There you go. See how the Y rotation's different? So that is a fast way of doing it. You can also place trees along splines. I do not recommend that. I think the tree script is hands down, once you've got it set up for your map, it's hands down the best script to use. Okay. Okay, so we got all these trees placed down. We have a forest. I showed you that way. Now let's get into a little bit more. Let's say you like have a lot of trees. I mean, like more than you can paint. And let's say you're painting it on like a 4x. I did it. This is the only way I could imagine like putting trees down on a 16x. Okay, so I'll show you here. I have a scaled image, a 2048 by 2048 image of remember the image plane image? I scaled that to 2048. Remember how we used that for the cultivator density? Okay, so I took that same image, I scaled it to 2048, okay? And I basically painted in all these areas. This is Elkader 16x. All these areas I painted with, let's see, should be layer 1. Yeah, with 1. Okay, so RGB 250, 0 to 255, HSV, I painted 1, code 1, okay? I painted all along this just like I did with the fields. Remember how we did the shift, hold shift, and paint around like that? That's what I did here. And I even freehanded some of this, as you can see, okay? And so all of these are set to 1. That's the layer state that we paint in, right? This down here, when you open up layers, this is tree density. This is layer 1. See layer value over here. Okay, these aren't highlighted again. I need to do that and then do it again. Okay, layer 1. Okay, and just by the way, just for future reference, clicking down here for layer values does not give you the corresponding layer value down here. It is the dumbest thing. Giants, please fix that. I think it's so stupid. You need to know the info channel code. Okay, so for 1 through 3, so 0, nothing selected. 1 is 0. 1 1 actual 1 is 2. Okay, and 0 1 is 3. Okay, I know that's super confusing, but you really only need to know that for field dimensions. And for farmlands, that's much later down the road when we actually have farmlands to lay out. Okay, but for now we just need 1 through 3. Usually you're probably just going to be using 1 layer, which is you just have 0 checked here. Okay, so that's what we're doing up here. Okay, all trees painted in that layer 1. Okay, and now all you would do is what you would do for when we were doing fields. You would change this background color to 0, 0, 0. Okay, so you change that background color to 0, 0, 0. My phone's popping off right now. Stop. And you would change. Okay, let's do foreground color 0. Okay, fill transparent areas, fill similar colors. That's going to be 0. Okay, now this background image we're going to do fill whole selection just like we did with the fields. Okay, perfect. What you're going to do now is you're going to go to colors. Since this is in GRLE format, we need it in grayscale. Okay, so we're going to go to colors. We're going to go to map. Oh, no. We're going to colors, components, decompose. Do not have this decompose the layers checkmarked. Uncheck it if it is. I foreground as registration color. I always uncheck that as well. And then color model RGB. That's going to give us just like before. Remember when we did a cultivator, or we did the foliage density over there? Okay, so we want the one that says trees or whatever you named your file dash red. Okay, remember we changed this number in the red column or red row. Okay, grayscale 8-bit gamma integer GIMP built-in D65 grayscale with sRGB TRC 1 layer. That's exactly what we need. You would export this image as your tree density.png. So it'd be tree density.png, and just like we did field dimensions in the last video, you would go into your file, find the field density GRLE file path. So you would go into tutorial map, maps. You would try to find, so let's say you set it up for tree density. You'd go to tree density. Okay, you would change GRLE to PNG. You'd save this. You'd open up the map. Click on your info layer pencil. All right, check that, make sure those layers were actually colored in, and then you'd save it. It would create a GRLE for you, and boom, you're ready to go. You're ready to run the script. That is the super fast way of doing it. If you have a 4x with a lot of trees, or like a 16x, you almost certainly do not need it for a 1x. That's just too many trees for a 1x. I mean, unless you're doing like a forestry map that like you legit need to, you need all just trees everywhere. So that is the tree creator script all done. I'm so happy that we got through that, because these two, foliage and tree creator, are the most complicated steps in the process. The rest of this is so straightforward. Now that you've learned these basic principles, it's so straightforward. Anything involving info layers, you're gonna have it nailed down. Okay, so it's including like seasons, field dimensions, farmland, other info layers. Okay. We're gonna run, now that we got the trees put down. I'm probably gonna go through and delete all these trees now. Now that you got the trees put down, now we can start painting roads and we can start laying down roads. So we're gonna do both of those in the next episode. We're gonna run next 2 episodes, I suppose. We're gonna run the street spline constructor, and we are going to run crossing constructor, and we're gonna paint by spline in 8.2.2 Giants Editor. Okay, so thank you for watching. I hope this was helpful. If you have any questions, make sure you go to our Discord. Usually that's where all the questions are answered. And that's it. I'll see you in the next episode. I'm really excited because now things are really gonna start taking off for your map. So I'll see you in the next episode, guys. Thank you so much. Bye-bye.